You are now in tune with
Mamba Radio.
Alright, what up, everybody? Thank you for tuning into Brown Mamba Radio. For those of you who don't know, my name is Jackson. And happy Tuesday to everybody out there. Hopefully you guys all enjoyed your weekend and got through the week last week. I know I did. Very, very busy lately. Just been working nonstop. But hey, I mean, that's the way it goes. That's life. And I'm not going to let that get in the way of me getting out all of my not so qualified takes on everything that happened in the wild world of sports. Starting, of course, with the NFL, and not just from this past weekend, but from last night. We had probably, I'm still trying to figure out if it's the best regular season game, not clearly of the season, clearly in the last a long time. And I want to say it's arguably the best. It's easily the best Monday Night Football game ever. And it's way up there. I can't think of it off top right now. Best regular season games of all time. And it's up. It's the Monday night game last night between the LA Rams and the Kansas City Chiefs. If you have not seen it yet, please do yourself a favor and just watch the highlights. Try to, if you can, watch the full game. The highlights are enough as well. You know, everyone's already talked about this game. As you can tell, I'm very, very excited about it, very juiced about it. But everyone's talked about this game. I mean, what else is there to say other than, you know, it was one of the best games I've ever seen, personally. And, you know, I had a few different friends who were at the game, and they all said the same thing. It was just fucking nuts. And it was legit electric. It was legit crazy. It was insane. And what's super crazy is I had this feeling watching it, that it felt like I got that same feeling when I was watching the Rose Bowl game between USC and Texas. I had that same feeling, and I texted my buddy who was at the game, and I asked him about it. I was like, dude, what was it like being at that fucking game? And he's like, bro, it was fucking crazy, blah, 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 this and that. He's like, it honestly felt like the Texas game. I was like, dude, that's fucking crazy. I had the same exact feeling. But it's just like that feeling where, like, you know you're watching, like, what you're watching is like, holy shit, this isn't just a really, really good game. This is, like, historically great. Like, you know you're watching something special happen. And just that feeling where, like, holy shit, this game is insane. And what's crazy is somebody has to lose this game. In this case, thankfully, the Rams came out on top. They beat the Chiefs 54-51 in a good old-fashioned fucking shootout, in a battle of the 9-1 juggernauts. And, you know, it was going into the game, it was the most hyped game. You know, everyone had this game circled on the calendar, you know, if not beforehand, at least about 3-4 weeks into the season, where everyone realized, like, oh shit, the Rams and the Chiefs are two of the best teams in the league, arguably the two best teams in the league. Everyone had this game circled on their calendar, and it did not disappoint. Thank God they had it at the Coliseum and not in Mexico City, because no offense to Mexico City, it just would not, I don't think it would have been the same. I really don't. The vibe would have been weird, you know, being, you know, out of the country and, you know, all that stuff. It just wouldn't have been right, and it felt so good. It just felt like being in the Coliseum, even if it was in Arrowhead, in Kansas City, because everyone knows how crazy Kansas City's. If you're not familiar, Kansas City has great home games. As much as I hate the Chiefs, because as a diehard Raider fan, they do have a great atmosphere over there in Kansas City, and they have great home games, and the energy is always great. And like I said, it would have been just as good there, but it was great in the Coliseum. It was nice. It was just you could feel the electricity through the TV screen. And like I said, it was one of the most hyped games, and it definitely did not disappoint. Like I said, the final score was 54-51, highest scoring Monday Night Football game of all time. I think it was the third highest scoring game in history, something like that. It was just crazy. I think like I said, a few other records were broken. I don't have it off top right now. I couldn't find all of them, but I remember they were talking about how record breaking it was. But speaking of some of the records, Patrick Mahomes had 478 yards and 6 touchdowns. I think that's a record as well. Most ever on Monday night. He threw 3 interceptions, but 2 of them came on the last 2 drives when he was trying to make a play. So not that we don't count them, but it's just kind of like he was, desperation, just hurled it out there and got picked off. But so, incredible game for Mahomes. Incredible game for Goff. 413 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, and 1 sick-ass rush touchdown with a sick-ass layup finger roll. Shout out to Jelly Fam, touchdown celebration. And like I said, they were just those 2 guys, man, just put on a fucking show and lit that shit up. It was insane. Just insane, that game. I can't stress that enough. Just how crazy that was. And like I said, they were finding all the big names that you expected were had an impact on the game. I mentioned Goff. I mentioned Mahomes. Both guys were finding their big targets in Kelsey, Cooks, Tyreek Hill, Kareem Hunt, Gurley. It was a shootout, that's for sure. A good old-fashioned gunslinging shootout between Goff and Mahomes. But Gurley and Hunt had their moments as well. And like I said, just a crazy, crazy, crazy game. And despite the very, very high score of both or the high scores that both teams put up, both teams actually played pretty good defense as well, which is crazy to say. But if you look at it, they both played very well. The Rams, Aaron Donald had 2 strip sacks, just imposing his will, and on top of that, he was in Mahomes' face, giving him headaches all game long. Samson Ebukam, I apologize if I incorrectly pronounced your name, but he had 2 touchdowns, not 1, but 2 defensive touchdowns, 1 on a scoop and score, and another one on a pick 6. And the Chiefs, man, had 5 team sacks and 1 defensive touchdown. And like I said, it was just like I said, if you have not seen the game yet, or at least the highlights or anything from this game, first of all, get out from under that rock, and you don't got to hibernate for another couple weeks now, I think. But do yourself a damn favor and watch this highlight. Like I said, if you couldn't tell how crazy and how good of a game that this was, based on my tone of voice, then, like I said, do yourself a damn favor, watch the highlights, and last thing I'm going to say about this before I move on, we need to get more of that, please. More of that game, please. So NFL, let's just do ourselves a favor here, and let's just cancel the playoffs and have a Rams-Chiefs Super Bowl at the Coliseum again. And just run that shit back and let them, give them about a month to prepare for each other again, and let's just do that shit all over again. Or is there a way we can make this wrestling style and try a triple threat match? A triple threat Super Bowl between the Rams, the Chiefs, and the Saints? Is there a way we can do that to have all 3 of those teams on the field at the same time? Because that would be even crazier. Someone looked it up to see if that's actually in the rule book, if we can do a triple threat Super Bowl between the Rams, the Chiefs, and the Saints. Because that actually sounds like a really, really, really good idea. And speaking of the Saints, there were some other games this weekend. I said last week that this was going to be a huge week for playoff seeding. And it wasn't really the case for the most part, despite certain teams winning and certain teams, or mainly certain teams losing that I feel like needed wins. The playoff picture looks pretty much the same. The only teams, they're pretty much the same. Starting with the home teams, Raiders actually got a win. They got another win. Probably going to be the last one of the season. It took them to playing the fucking Cardinals of all teams to get one. So there's that. Chargers lost, but like I said, it didn't really affect them. And I'm going to put a yet on the end of that, just because at this point, every game matters, and it's a divisional game. You know what I mean? It's a divisional game that they lost against the Broncos, and it could, depending on how other teams play, it could haunt them. I don't think it will, but it could. That's why I'm put it on my notes here. I have an ellipses ... yet. You know what I mean? With a question mark around, or parentheses around the question mark, because I'm not sure if it's so I'll have to see there. But like I mentioned before, some big wins for teams in the hunt. The Seahawks pulling out on Thursday night against the Pack Attack, and the Colts, another team that got a big win. Colts and the Texans, actually. Like I said, there's that revolving door in the AFC South where all 4 teams have a legit chance of making the playoffs, between the Colts, the Texans. Titans, I don't know, they lost. Jags lost too, and it looks, like I said, that's a little bit more clear. I'll get to that. But a big win for the Colts, big win for the Texans. Like I said, as far as helping their case. And big win in the AFC North as well, kind of on the good side of things. Like I said, if you listened to the episode a couple weeks ago, I mentioned I broke down the different teams into different tiers, and the Steelers and Ravens in this tier were, the AFC North, NFC, for the most part, the AFC South and the NFC East are on this this zone where all 4 teams could either make the playoffs or be the top seed or the bottom seed, and none of it would surprise you. Or however the seeding works out for these divisions, nothing will surprise you. So then the same thing with the Steelers and the Ravens. Like I said, they're at this point both going to make the playoffs. It's like I said, it's looking pretty good for them. It just depends on, like I said, who's going to be in the wild card, who's going to win the North. It doesn't really matter. And a big win for the Cowboys. And a little side note thing. I hate to say I told you so, but I'm going to fucking tell you guys I told you so. When I went off on everything about the Cowboys trade that they made with the Raiders for Amari Cooper, and everyone's like, well, they got a first-round pick out of it, and the Cowboys suck. I said it on this podcast. Go back and listen. And I told a ton of my friends this. That pick isn't as valuable as people think. Yes, the Cowboys stink, but they play in the NFC East, which is arguably the worst division in football. And, they play those teams, 2 times each? So that's 6 games right there that potentially that they can win. And I haven't looked it up right now, but I think they've won all their divisional games so far. And the way that things are going right now, they're winning those games, and the more games that the Cowboys win, the less valuable that pick gets. And I guess this is a nice little transition into the teams that lost. A lot of the NFC East teams are losing. The Giants, sure, the Giants got to win, but they stink. They're crossed off in pencil, just because of how poorly the Eagles and the Redskins are playing. Eagles got their asses kicked by the Saints. They're pretty close. I'd cross them off an erasable pen. They're, for the most part, sharpieing them. The Eagles are done. Eagles are getting sharpied off because all the injuries they have as well. Eagles are getting sharpied off. You know what I mean? With the couple cross-offs. The Redskins are getting crossed off, and it sucks. They're technically, as it stands, they are winning. I believe they are winning in the the NFC East. Let me see. I'm looking. Yeah, they're top seed in the NFC East. But again, if you haven't seen it, I don't recommend watching. It's not for the squeamish or the faint of heart. But it is a seriously bad season-ending injury for Alex Smith. Really, really bad leg break for him, ending his season, and by osmosis, essentially, the end of the Redskins season. They're gonna go with Colt McCoy, I think, for the rest of the way. Who last time I think he was playing, I was still in high school, so it's not looking good for the Redskins. Not looking good for the NFC East. Not looking good for that Raiders first round pick that they got from the Cowboys. Is what I'm trying to say with this. Yeah, like I said, after that little tangent, it's one of the other teams that lost. I think we can, like I said, we can cross off the Eagles, we can cross off the Redskins. Pretty sure we can cross off the Jaguars right now. That was a really bad loss for them against the Steelers. Really, really bad loss, considering that they had a lead for most of that game. And like I said, they just fucking blew it. They just blew it, and they were playing to not lose as opposed to playing to win. And that never, ever, ever works. You know, it did, and what's crazy is it didn't work for them against the Patriots in the AFC Championship game last year. What makes you think it's going to work now? So I'm pretty sure we can cross off the Jags. And like I said, some more other bad losses for teams in the hunt. Teams like the Packers. Not sure where they stand as far as on a cross-off. It's getting very, very close. Mike McCarthy is facing so much heat. The most heat that he's felt got to be in his tenure, that in his entire tenure. It's like the heat is on, and they better. It's like, all right, enough is almost enough at this point, and he's gonna have to do something. He's gonna have to figure it out very quick, or else he's probably gonna lose his job. So, like I said, they're very close. Falcons are very close to being crossed off. But the Panthers also losing. Definitely, it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt the Falcons' cause. The Falcons are really, really close. But it doesn't hurt that the Panthers lost. You know, and it doesn't hurt the Falcons' odds. And it doesn't necessarily hurt the Panthers' odds either. They're still in the playoff hunt right now. They're still in the playoffs as we speak. And they're gonna give whoever they face a run for their money, a tough matchup. But they need, if they want to prove that they're a legit contender, they have to take care of business against a team like the Lions, who are pretty much out of it as well. So, like I said. Not necessarily, like I said, it didn't fully have the impact that I thought this week didn't have the full impact that I thought it would have, but it made things a little clearer in the sense that we, like I said, just adding some more cross-offs. Like I said, it's still, I thought it was a little bit later in the season. I don't know why I thought it was a little bit, but anyway, we still got a few more weeks of football left going into week 12. Thanksgiving games going on Thursday, kind of throwing a monkey wrench into the schedule. And these Thanksgiving games definitely looked tastier before the season started. I'm sure a lot more people thought that the Bears and the Lions would be better. Redskins Cowboys arguably could have been better, but losing Alex Smith is definitely makes this not as fun of a matchup. And same thing, Saints Falcons. Pretty sure we know who's going to win that one. And like I said, even though these games are probably going to be very, very, very predictable, and we have an idea of we're pretty sure the Bears, the Cowboys, and the Saints are going to win on Thursday. I can see why the NFL scheduled it the way they did. Shout out to Bill Simmons for pointing out the fact that the Bears had to play Sunday, later on Sunday afternoon, or Sunday night, and then have to play the early game on Thursday. Shout out to Bill Simmons, the fucking podfather, the GOAT, for sticking to the NFL, for just this sham mockery of caring for their players when the Bears having to play the late game on Sunday, then do a turnaround and then and then go to Detroit and play the first game on Thursday, only on 3 days rest. Like, come on, man. That's just not fucking cool. So, shout out to Bill Simmons for calling him out for that. And, it's, like I said, going to be a pretty predictable Thursday. But at least we all get to enjoy some good food while we watch these predictable games on Thursday. So there's that. That's how things went with the real football. Now on the fantasy football and basketball, because I'm going to go winner, chicken dinner. I won in all three of my leagues for, I think, the first time this season. I think it's the first time that all three of my teams have won at the same time. Putting myself in fourth place in both football leagues. Cannot believe that. I was pretty damn sure I was out of it in my friends league. But lo and behold, 4th place in both football leagues, 5th place in the b-ball league, slowly working my way up. And, shout out to the fucking Rams and the Chiefs, man, because they single-handedly saved me in these games. In my family league, I love you, Patrick Mahomes. He gave me like 58 points despite throwing the three interceptions, So he gave me like 50-something points, helped me squeak out the win by 3 points. And even though I got fucking nothing from Carson Wentz at QB in my friends league, I happen to have Tyreek Hill, Brandon Cooks, and Travis Kelce all on the same team. So they all gave me more than 20 points each, helping me win in that one as well. But it is going to be a tough week for me in both my fantasy football leagues because a lot of my key players are on a bye week. This coming week, like I said, all the Chiefs guys are on bye week, so I don't have Mahomes in my other league. I'm not going to have Tyreek Hill or Travis Kelce. I'm not going to have Rams on a bye week as well, so I'm not going to have Brandon Cooks or Greg the Leg in my other between my two teams. So it's going to be tough. I do have Cam Newton backing as my backup, which is pretty fucking crazy if you think about that. I got Mahomes and Cam Newton on the same team. But I'm going to have to definitely shuffle the lineup around a little bit and try to figure this out. So, like I said, prayers for me, please. Send me some good vibes. No negative vibes, please. I don't need any of those shits. So, please, positive vibes only. And pray for me going forward in the football leagues. And in the basketball league, like I said, got the win. Pretty big win for me. 5th place now. Joel Embiid is continuing to dominate and be the leader of my team. Kyrie Irving finally decided to find his groove. Thank you. I guess all it took was a nice haircut. And, just, like I said, it's off to a good start. Off to a good start to the week as well. I'm up right now. And, like I said, Lou Williams is playing well for me. Who else is doing well for me? Aaron Gordon's playing very well. Stuffing the stat sheets. Jeez, that's a mouthful to say. Pause. Stuffing the stat sheets. Tyson Chandler, like I said, I picked him up. He's doing pretty good. Harrison Barnes playing a little bit better than I thought. And like I said, hopefully I can continue this little streak that I'm on. So I'm heating up 2 in a row. Now I just need to catch fire with 3 in a row. So hopefully, like I said, I can keep it going. And let's see. Let's finish things off here. Let's finish strong. I only got a few more things to get to. Going from the fake fantasy sports to the real ones with the NBA. Starting with the Lakers. Had a little win streak going. Like I said, it was it was nice to see that before that ugly loss to the Magic. Even though they almost came back. It was just too much too late, and like I said, really ugly loss for them in Orlando. But a good win in Miami. Good win in Miami to bounce back. And it was a good win from start to finish. It was one of those they were in control the entire game. It was a good road win. Like I said, good start to finish win. Haven't seen too much of that where Lakers play well for the first 42 minutes and then they start to fall apart late and almost blow the game, but have those wins like against the Hawks or the Mavs where they won, but it definitely did not feel good towards the end there. But like I said, good start to finish win in Miami. Still have to work on the same thing, still working them out. They're getting a little bit better on the defense. Tyson Chandler's helping with that. Like I said, still got to work on the defense, but it's not just, like I said, he's helping out the down low defense. He still need to work on the perimeter defense a little bit more. Lonzo's been picking it up there, who I'll get to in a little bit. I still need to work on the 3-point shooting, consistent 3-point shooting. I think that we're still at the point where whenever someone catches it from behind the arc, unless that's Josh Hart and sometimes Kuzma, it's always like you hold your breath a little bit, like if I'm not sure if it's gonna go in. Like I said, we got to work on that, And also the last thing is just figuring out the lineups. It's just got to figure out those lineups. That's really it. It's gonna take time. Luke's, try. I appreciate him trying different things because, like I said, I keep stressing it. This team is so all over the place with the different types of players they have and the different personalities. You've got this weird combo of, like I said, young guys, like very young guys, like rookie, second, third year guys, combined with like 8-9 year guys, and above, so they gotta find that middle ground and try to make it work. And like I said, it's just gonna take time. That's it. It's gonna take time. Don't need any fire Luke chance or anything like that or whatever. Like I said, it's just all we need is time. And we got to cut him a little bit of slack because it's going to be a little bit tougher to figure those lineups. Because, considering that we're not going to have Rondo going forward for the next 4 to 6 weeks. If you have not heard, Rondo's out with a broken hand. And again, he will be out for about 4 to 6 weeks to heal that up. Which means that it's going to be time for Lonzo to step up. A lot of people, including myself, have been clamoring that I think Lonzo needs to play a little bit more, especially down the stretch. And like I said, you hate that it has to come as a result of an injury, but opportunities create opportunities. And like I said, it's time for Lonzo to step up. He hasn't been shooting the ball great, to say the least. It seems like it's either a swish from a three or an air ball. You know what I mean? Like a wet ass swish or an air ball with no in between. Very inconsistent, but it's always nice when it drops. You know what I mean? But that doesn't tell the whole story because Lonzo has been finding other ways to try and impact the game, mainly with his defense, obviously with his play calling and his passing ability, and he's, like I said, he when he's on the floor, he's not out there to shoot. Any offense from Lonzo, I've been saying this forever. I could tell everybody this in my outside off the podcast and if I talk to people and stuff. Lonzo's role on this team is distributor, is to bring the ball up, it's to set guys up, to get people in the right position. It's to be a playmaker, not necessarily a scorer, but a playmaker in the truest definition of the term, where he's making a play, whether it's, making the right pass, whether it's, doing something to set the defense up in order to put the offense in a better opportunity to score. Like I said, a lot of hockey assists where he'll make the pass that'll draw the double team, and then the pass that leads to the pass that scores, or he somehow finds a way to do the right thing other than scoring. And I've always been saying this, he does all that stuff, and any scoring from Lonzo is just icing on the cake. There's that great clip, I think Lakers Film Room posted or something, where they're showing Lonzo switching like 4 different times on defense to ultimately come up with a steal, and then ran the fast break to find LeBron for the open. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. Like, that's the kind of stuff Lonzo does. He doesn't have to be, Dwayne Wade type, or a De'Aaron Fox. I know a lot of people are comparing him to De'Aaron Fox. He doesn't have to be a De'Aaron Fox type point guard. You know what I mean? Where he's, the main source of scoring. They have tons of guys who can score already. They got LeBron, obviously, Kuzma, Ingram, even Josh Hart, even even sometimes KCP or Lance Stevenson. You know what I mean? That's where the scoring, with the last two very big air quotes there, that's where scoring is going to come from. So all he has to do is just play good defense, try to lock up their other point guard, do what he can, and just like I said, find other ways to impact the game. And I think that's what he's been doing. He's definitely have to step it up to another level, step it up another notch, and he has to get out of his own way, get out of his own head, stop overthinking things, and just trust his instincts. He's a good enough player where he just has to trust his instincts and just play freely. And there's gonna be a point where we all know that this is LeBron's team. That's for sure. And he's the whenever he's on the floor, everything runs through LeBron. We all know that. But like I said, there's going to be a point where when Lonzo's out there with LeBron, like Lonzo needs to know that not everything necessarily has to run through LeBron like that, but it'll allow the Lakers as a whole to give the other team different looks by having LeBron do stuff off ball. He can potentially run off screens. He can, set up in the post. He can do all kinds of other things. And Lonzo's going to be the one to initiate all that. And Lonzo's going to be the one that has to take control. So when that's going to happen, I don't know. It needs to happen, and I have a feeling it will happen. And hopefully it happens sooner rather than later. And I think that this time with him being on the floor more with LeBron, splitting time with him, learning from him, playing with him, playing off of each other and all that stuff, and just getting reps out there with LeBron is going to be very, very, very I'm trying to think of the right word. Not contributional, that's not even a word. But it's going to be great help for Lonzo and his game, and overall for the Lakers as well. So hopefully they can, like I said, continue the little win streak. They can make another little win streak going. They've got the Cavs on tomorrow night. Hopefully that's a win for them, and then they'll be back at home for the next few games. So hopefully, like I said, they can string together some nice wins, and we don't have to be too upset at them. But across the hall, the Staples Center, whoo boy, those Clippers, man, those Clippers. I think it is officially time for everybody, for all of us, to stop with all the, look at how cute the Clippers are. Look at them just winning and going out there and playing so hard, like that kind of thing. I think it's officially time that we stop with all that shit, because the Clippers are fucking pretty good, man. They are pretty good, and I will keep saying it. I said it before, and I will keep saying it. They have the ugliest team. They have the ugliest roster, and somehow Doc Rivers and Jerry West and Lawrence Frank are finding ways to get the most out of them, and they are tied for the top spot in the Western Conference right now. And yeah, they've played some pretty weak teams, but they've also beaten some pretty good ones too. They beat the Bucks and the Warriors on back-to-back games, not like back-to-back like they played on a Monday and a Tuesday, but in back-to-back games, in back-to-back, they're on a 5-game win streak right now. They beat the Bucks, the Warriors, and the Spurs all at home back-to-back. And now they're on a road trip. And yeah, they played the Nets, and yeah, they played the Hawks, but on a road trip on like a legit back-to-back. That's crazy, man. They went to Brooklyn, to Atlanta in back-to-back games and on the road and got wins. Yeah, they were come from behind. Yeah, they were a little ugly, but a win's a win. And they're showing that they can, that they can come back, man. They've got Luke Williams leading these boys. Sure, he's not starting, and he even said it, man. It's not. I don't care about starting, because all I know is when I go out there, I'm gonna finish these games, and he has been. He's been putting the icing on the cake in a lot of these games. With a lot of good comebacks, a lot of great wins, and like I said, man, I think it's time to stop with all the baby talk, I guess we could say, with the Clippers. And like, they're legit, man. They're pretty legit. And, of course, knowing me, now that I've crowned their ass, just RIP, shout out to Dennis Green. Now that I've crowned their asses, watch them just all of a sudden start to implode and shit like that. But, they are definitely legit, in my opinion. And, yeah, man, people aren't gonna take them lightly anymore. People shouldn't take them lightly anymore. Like I said, they're one of the top teams, man. So, shout out to the Clip City. Not sure if it's gonna be Chip City, but definitely, pretty good. And like I said, they've got a pretty favorable schedule coming up as well. So, like I said, they might be adding to it. They're finishing off this road trip tonight against the Wizards, who are just a fucking train wreck right now. Oh my god. And then they come back and then they got the Grizzlies, the Blazers, the Suns, the Kings, the Mavs, the Pelicans, the Grizzlies, the Heat, the Suns. Like I said, a pretty good stretch of games were all winnable, especially with this team. All winnable games for them. And so so like I said, all winnable games for them before things start to heat up later on in December. But yeah, man, the Clips, man, watch out. The Clips, the like I said, Doc, Jerry West, the Jerry West effect, and like I said, Doc Rivers got these boys coached up, and like I said, hopefully he gets his due. And gets credit where credit is deserved. At least he's getting it from me. And hopefully he gets credit where credit is deserved for putting the Clippers in this situation. And yeah, so let's see. Anything else from around the NBA? We got, like I said, the Wizards. Just somehow the Wizards are worse than everyone thought that they would be. And this is just a disaster, man. Apparently Woj said that, now Wall and Beal are officially on the trading block, and they're listening to all offers for them, and they're ready to blow that shit up. There's just been, all year there's been a lot of sneak dissing going on. Some more of it's continuing, and like I said, just bad stuff. And hate to say I told you so, but I called it. I called it in my preview podcast, saying this is probably going to be the year where it all falls apart. And, ultimately the question is going to be, who do they keep between Beal and Wall? And it looks like they don't really care. They're just trying to get whatever they can out of it. So it's bad times for the Wizards, bad times for the Cavs. Apparently it came down today that J.R. Smith is not happy at all in Cleveland. And him and the team have mutually decided to part ways. And J.R. Smith will no longer, I guess he's no longer going to be practicing with the team. He won't be playing games or anything with them. He'll just be working out on his own. While the Cavs try to find a trade for him, and I don't know who's going to trade for J.R. Smith at this point. I really don't. Maybe he goes back to New York. Maybe he goes to I really have no idea what's going to happen with J.R. Smith. But best of luck to him. Hopefully they got a lot of Hennessy where he's at, because that man is going to be needing a lot of it. And then let's see, anything else. Celtics struggling a little bit, but I think they're good enough to figure it out. Like I said, Kyrie's finally starting to pick it up a little bit, so that's definitely going to help. And if anybody can figure it out, I've said it before, I'll say it again. If anybody can figure it out, it is the president, Brad Stevens. So there's that. And then with the Sixers and the other, big team, Jimmy Butler, man, showing everybody why the Timberwolves fucking needed him. Just a couple game winners already. The huge one against the Bobcats, against the Hornets, spoiling Kemba's big night. With the block on one end on Kemba, and then taking it down and hitting the game winner, ice in his veins, on the road against the Hornets. And like I said, Jimmy Butler just balling out right now in Philly. And like I said, still undecided. It's still yet to be determined whether or not he's going to re-sign with them. But for the time being, man, they are all enjoying it. And, not done with Philly yet, because, the ongoing saga and ongoing case study that is Markelle Fultz isn't slowing down anytime soon, because it doesn't seem like it's... This is just getting crazier and crazier by the minute, man. And apparently, Markelle Fultz isn't going to be doing anything basketball related. Like, no working out, no games, no practice, no nothing. And he's not going to be doing anything basketball related until his attorney says so. Because his attorney has this or his attorney, I guess whatever the law offices that are representing him have set up some appointment with some I guess shoulder specialist or something to see if there's anything wrong with him or whatever. And they've said that he's not going to be doing any physical workouts or whatever, anything like that, until he's evaluated by this doctors. So this is fucking crazy. It's just getting crazier and crazier with Marco Fultz. And I said it to my friends where, you know, he's got these crazy free throw shots and stuff like that now, and you know all this different shit going on. And I'm like, dude, like it's getting to the point where this is like, it's like okay, it's not like funny anymore, and it's like getting sad. Like what the fuck, like it's just getting sad, man. Like this is a human being, like you know what I mean, like with like a real human being, and you know who's clearly his psyche is just all screwed up right now. And I'm just like the big thing was like no bullshit, no joking, all joking aside and all that stuff. I'm like, it just feels like Markel Fultz is just some like social experiment or like some case study or something to like see if how things would work or see what would happen if this, like it just seems like it's like the stuff is getting so crazy now. Like I said, like we're at the point where an attorney is telling him that he cannot play basketball right now. We're literally people like legal action is being taken in order to try and protect this guy and figure this shit out. It's like it's so crazy. It's almost like you couldn't script this shit. Like I hate that cliche, but this is crazy. Like this is legit crazy. And like I said, it just feels weird, you know, at this point. It's just getting, now it's getting crazy, it's getting weird, and it's just getting sad, man. Very, very sad. Because some people, you know, the big trade deadline date that's coming up, or the big trade date is coming up, is December 11th, I believe. And that's the day that essentially everyone is on the table and everyone's available to be traded. So, spoiler alert, I'm going to be definitely having some cool content about that coming up, so stay tuned for that. Shameless plug there. But you know, I've been talking with some friends and some other people and stuff like that, just thinking they're like, you know, they got to trade him and this and that. But I'm like, dude, this man literally has zero trade value. Nobody wants the problems with him on the court. Nobody wants the problems off the court. And like I said, it's just adding to this is sad because this man was the number 1 overall pick, and he literally has zero trade value. Like he has negative trade value because of how it's just the sideshow stuff, man, that's gonna come with him, and that's just so sad. It's just so sad. And I really, really hope he figures this shit out sooner rather than later. So yeah, that's it from basketball. What else is on my notes? Oh, some wrestling real quickly. You know, very, very upset that I had to work all weekend, but that's what happens. You get a new job, you got to be low on the totem pole, you got to work your way up. It happens. Very, very upset that I had to work all weekend because so much good wrestling, or so much wrestling was going on here in LA at Staples. You know, Survivor Series was this past Sunday, this past Sunday, excuse me. And I know some people liked it, some people thought it was whatever. I was in the thought it was whatever camp, you know. I just thought it was weird that they had Raw just completely bury SmackDown like that. I just thought that was really weird. Especially since they're not counting the pre-show where the Usos beat the whoever was left in that tag match. But just more head-scratching things, you know, like Shane McMahon. Of course, they had Shane McMahon, who just won the fucking best wrestler in the world trophy, is the last man in the ring against Braun Strowman, Baron Corbin, and Bobby Lashley. Like, of course. Or, I mean, Drew McIntyre. Of course. He's the last one. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? And, like, it's just getting old. And, like I said, the problem that I think WWE has with the main roster stuff, because as lame and as whatever as I thought that Survivor Series was, if you want to watch some good wrestling, watch War Games from Saturday night. War Games was fucking insane. It was fucking crazy. As good as that Chiefs-Rams game was, that's how good NXT War Games was. So go watch that. Do yourself a fucking favor and watch War Games. It was crazy. Especially the last War Games match. That shit was crazy. But back to the main roster stuff. It's just way too much going on, man. Way too much stuff going on. You know, they got so many of these pay-per-views and so many of these glorified house shows. They just had Crown Jewel, which was, you know, a joke, essentially. Just a big-time money grab. but the WWE. Then they just had Evolution, and with the all women's pay per view. Now they just had Survivor Series. Like, I completely forgot the Survivor Series was this close. I feel like they could have waited another week to help build the storylines and stuff like that. But everything just feels so rushed, and they don't give the fans and anybody enough time to breathe and like, oh, that's the storyline. Like wait, because the whole time I'm like, wait, what's the storyline again? And it's like, how many times are they going to turn? So is Braun Strowman a heel? Is he a face? Is Daniel Bryan a heel? Is Daniel Bryan a face? Like, what's going on here? Like, wait, that was weird. Like, they just had AJ Styles. Like, AJ Styles was built the whole time and have him lose at the last second. Like, so much stuff going on, and they just don't give anyone, like I said, time to breathe and take it all in. And like, okay, they don't give anybody a chance to be like, okay, I have a clear understanding of what everyone's motivations are. I have a clear understanding of what the storylines are. It's just all over the place, man. And like I said, I get that they're trying to make money. That's the name of the game and all that. But at what cost, man? Because it's really starting to affect the product out there in the ring. And, the fans, they're not afraid to let them know. And especially in a place like LA, where sure, we're not as, as rowdy and raucous or whatever, and as smarky as like, some of the big East Coast markets like, like New York and what else? And Philly, even Chicago and all those places, right? Like, I know we're not as smarky as those guys, but we still got smart, smarky fans here in LA. There's a lot of independent pro wrestling promotions and stuff like that around here, that people, tune into and shit like that. And so, like, there's a lot of smarky internet people around LA too. So that's why they were booing the whole contrived, forced sympathy thingy with Ronda Rousey and saying thank you, Charlotte, and all that stuff. Like I said, because WWE fans were too smart, man. LA fans were too smart, and the smart fans we know what you're trying to do, forcing the sympathy upon us, and we don't want that shit, and just shit like that, but at the same time, the Nia Jax thing, when they do it right, it works. Like the Nia Jax thing, where everybody was booing the shit out of her because she kept Becky Lynch away from us. That was smart. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so when they have clear, concise motivations and character development, all that stuff, it works. It's great. Like, we get it with Nia Jax. But everything's all over the place and you don't really know what's going on. You don't really care. That's when you get shit like what happened with Charlotte and Ronda, because it's like, do I now like Ronda turn, or like we're trying to force it down our throats when we don't want that. Don't tell us what we're supposed to like. You get that situation, and then you get the whole thing with the fucking, who's it? Authors of Pain and Sheamus and Cesaro match. Like, we're just like, why am I supposed to care about this? I don't care about this. That kind of thing. So hopefully they can figure it out. That's just the name of the game for me for everything, is hopefully they can figure it out, man. Because we got TLC coming up next month. Hopefully they can, there's no other weird things in the middle between now and then to get in the way of this developing story. So hopefully they can, they can right the ships on a lot of storylines and a lot of characters and stuff like that from now until TLC. And then after TLC, it's officially the road to WrestleMania. Then it's Royal Rumble next, so if there's a time to try and right the ship, it's do it now. So that way, figure all this shit out and get everything kind of on a straight path. So that way, that path is nice and smooth going all the way into WrestleMania. So that's all I got to say about that. The WWE, and like I said, if you really want some really, really, really good wrestling, watch NXT War Games. You will not be disappointed. So go ahead and watch that. That was very good. And yeah, that's speaking of good, that's gonna do it for me. And now I'm good. Like always, everybody, thank you for listening, and thank you for fucking with me. Like, who is all black? And like always, if you like what you heard, please tell a friend. Tell your loved ones, your relatives, when you see them this over these holidays. Tell them if you like what you heard, and you think someone else might like it, tell them about it. And tell them to subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. iTunes, SoundCloud, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn, YouTube, all that stuff. Subscribe there, everywhere, all that stuff, whatever. Leave comments or whatever, rate, review, all that stuff, whatever the fuck that the podcast people tell you to do. Do all of that. Also, if you want, follow along on all the socials, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Tumblr, all that good stuff. At Brown Mamba Radio, Brown Mamba, or my personal stuff, JXCKSXNNN. That is 3 N's. Follow along there. And like always, everything is always available on the blog, the site, brownmamba.us. Everything is there. So follow along, check it all out. Again, thank you so much for listening. And like I said, the new year is coming up pretty soon, a lot sooner than I expected, and a lot sooner than I think a lot of people expected. And one of my big things that I really want to get into going into the new year is I really, really, really want to do more interviews. I really, like I said, I've been so all over the place. I know I've said it before, but I've been so all over the place with my personal life and with work and all that kind of stuff. And I think I'm finally going to be able, by, next month and hopefully by the beginning of next year, everything will be settled in and I'll be able to, okay, everything's set. I kind of know what my schedule is like and all that stuff. So I will definitely be wanting to schedule and sit down with more people and do more interview type things and just not just like old, not like a Larry King type interview or whatever, but just a convo, a lot of time. That's the main thing, is just having a good old-fashioned conversation about, it doesn't have to just be sports. It can be anything. I know I've said in other episodes, but it can be anything. Pop culture, music, current events, whatever the fuck, anything anyone wants to talk about. So if you're listening and you are interested in, doing a little interview, having a good convo or anything like that, or somebody who you think might be interested or would just be, would make for a good chat or something like that, like I said, hit me up, let me know, slide in those MFDMs, all that good stuff. Hit me up, and like I said, let's fucking do this, because I'm very excited. Like I said, I want to, the main reason why I want to do it is I love to learn, and my favorite things to do, like when I'm on YouTube, is usually if I'm not watching like video essays or anything like that, I'm watching interviews and I'm listening to interviews on podcasts and stuff like that, because that's how you learn. It's just the whole thing is, if you can know something, why would you not want to know it? You know what I mean? And I feel like the best way to do that is to engage in conversation with other people and hear different perspectives. And I know I talk a lot on these episodes and stuff. And if you, are a regular listener, one, thank you so much. I appreciate it. But two, it's all from my mind and how I feel about things, but it's always cool to hear another opinion. That's how I learn, hearing other people think about it. It's like, oh, I never thought of it like that. Or, then we can, if we disagree, I can lay out my points, whoever can lay out their points, his or her points. And like I said, we can have a discussion, and then that's how we learn. You know what I mean? So, very excited to want to do that. I have a couple in the archives. I got a couple interviews and things like that in the archives. If you want to go check them out and see how it sounds, before you jump on or whatever, see what the vibe is like. It's pretty laid back. You know what I mean? I'm not very grilling or anything like that, or I'm not too serious. Like I said, I take what I do seriously, but I just don't take myself that very seriously. So like I said, it's very laid back, very casual, pretty cool. Imagine the whole, I fucking hate saying it like this, but it just be like, I know this is what everyone says, why they want to start a podcast. It's like, well, it just be like if we're just chilling, having a beer, but with microphones on instead, that kind of thing. So that's essentially the vibe I'm chasing. You know what I mean? So, like I said, if you're interested, let me know. If you know somebody that might be interested or might be interesting, let them know to let me know, or you can let me know, whatever. But hit me up. Let's try and fucking do this. And like I said, I think I've rambled on and babbled on for long enough. I will get out of here. I've got to get some rest. Like I said, I got some much more work, and a lot of sleep I got to catch up on. So, again, thank you guys for listening. I appreciate it. And don't just have a good week. Make it a good week. Hopefully you guys all enjoy your Thanksgiving. I will probably not be back until next week, so hopefully you guys enjoy your Thanksgiving with family, with good food. And hopefully there aren't too many divisive conversations at the dinner table or anything like that with your families. And things can stay relatively tame. Happy Black Friday shopping out there. Hopefully you guys, find some good deals. And if you're going to be Black Friday shopping, please, please, please turn your phone horizontal. If you're going to record somebody getting in a fight, do us all a favor and make it easier for us, all right? It's not that hard. Turn your phone horizontal. That's all we ask for. And like I said, don't just have a good week. Make it a good week and weekend. Drink more water. Health is wealth. Please be kind to each other because it's easy to be nice. Hopefully you guys all enjoy your Thanksgiving. I'll catch you guys